Hello, 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 and welcome to Nothing Left to Do But Win. Today we are doing a special episode called Life After High School. We want to make sure our youth have some sort of direction. Maybe if they don't, we're going to delve into a couple different careers and we just going to get the show started. We're not going to take a whole bunch of time. We're going to get the show started and keep it moving. So today I have Miss Shani Speaks and Mike Morgan, and they're both going to talk about a couple of the different careers that they've had and so on and so forth. So, y'all ready? All right. First up, we are going to talk to Miss Shani Speaks. Hello, Sugarfoot. How are you?
Hey. I am doing well. It is so good to be here. I'm so excited about this series, about this episode. This is amazing. So, thank you so much for having me.
Listen, I am so glad to have you. When we had you on a couple weeks ago, that was such an impactful episode. I got so much out of it, and I've been following you on all your socials ever since. And I feel like people need to know who you are and they need to hear what you have to offer.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So, everyone, I am Miss Shani Speaks. I help women heal from financial trauma and I
Mhm.
help them thrive by making money selling digital products and selling content. I'm also the founder and the host of Truth Talks Empowerment for Healing and Thriving podcast, which is currently on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music. So, a couple of different platforms. And yeah, that's
So,
me.
in other words, you're everywhere.
I
There
am
is no
everywhere.
way, if somebody wants to find you, they should be able to find you because you are everywhere.
Yes, I am everywhere, omnipresent.
And I love that for you. Okay, so first of all, you introduced yourself and you told us what you do. Was this your initial plan?
No, surprisingly, no, this was not my initial plan. I always knew I wanted to work with children in some capacity. So I
Mhm.
started out, I said I wanted to be a teacher, then that changed to a doctor, and then it went back to working with children again. So I went to school, I went to college, Rutgers University. Shout out to RU, rah, rah. Went to Rutgers, studied criminal justice. I planned to
Mm,
go into juvenile justice. I wanted to advocate for kids who are in the juvenile justice system.
mhm.
That changed as well. I did get that criminal justice degree, but after that college, I went to Wilmington University in Delaware and I received my
Mm,
master's in education. So then I went into
wow.
teaching. Yeah, so then I went to teaching and I was a teacher for several years. And now I'm an educational a consultant. So still in the educational space. That's my full time. But then I found digital products. I found faceless podcasting. I
Mhm.
found content creation and it's been up from there. That was about 4 months ago. And like you said, since then, I just kind of been everywhere with that. And I found a way to make money with no cap, right? Like right now, my 9 to 5 is salaried. I get paid the same amount every 2 weeks. But with digital products, with content creation, and with helping women heal from financial trauma, there's no ceiling. So you just can make
Right.
as much money as you like to, whatever you want to do. You can take it wherever you want to go because it's so convenient. As long as you have Wi-Fi, a cell phone, anything like that, you can do this. So it wasn't my plan, but I'm so happy that I got here.
Right now, you said you have your master's in education.
Yes.
Now, for me, I always knew college wasn't for me. I wasn't much of a student. I had undiagnosed ADHD. And for the most part, I cheated my way through high school. So I knew college wasn't for me. What made you not only go to college, but pursue your master's?
So I had a child, and that right there, like once you see that plus sign on that pregnancy test, you'll start making some decisions.
Right.
If you don't have a decision made, and at the time when I got pregnant, I was 19, so I did not have a
Mhm.
decision made in my head. But right there, right then, when I knew that I was going to bring another life into this world, I was like, I got to do something and I got to
Right.
make something shake. So it was like finish college, of course. I'm like, okay, let's just finish, get my bachelor's degree. But like I said, it was in criminal justice. My
Mhm.
passion really wasn't in criminal justice. And so I was like, this isn't going to work because I don't want to go into the justice system anymore. What else do I want to do? Teaching was still something I was very passionate about. So I was like, why not go back to school, get my master's degree in education, and pursue teaching? And so at that point, I had 2 kids. So it was definitely like, yeah, you got to do something. And so that's what drove me in that direction. I knew I did good in school. School came pretty easily for me. I didn't have to try really, really hard. I was very blessed and lucky in that way. So I was like, I could do school again. School will work. I can do school. And so that's how it went.
Wow. That's a lot, especially doing it with a child, let alone 2 children.
Yes.
Um, for me, um, after high school, I worked. I worked at McDonald's, I worked at Applebee's because I never knew what I wanted to do. Like I had an idea, but I knew that it was going to require a lot of schooling that I didn't want to do. And like you, I eventually got pregnant. I had a child, and I was just like, yeah, we got to figure something out.
Yes.
And at the time, there was a free CNA course, and at the time it was 6 months long. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then when it came time to do it, I was 6 months pregnant, and I was like, absolutely not. Like I can't do this right now. So I didn't do it.
Gotcha.
And 17 years later, I ended up actually doing it, and that's what I do now. So
Wow.
I very much understand having a child and trying to figure your way through the world.
Yes.
It's hard.
As hell.
Yeah. So, what made you actually begin the path that you're on now with digital products?
So oddly enough, I tell this to everyone. I did not know anything about digital products before I got started
Mhm.
in the space. Like this was not something that I was like, I want to do digital products or digital products seems interesting. Let me look more into that. It was not that type of situation. I literally was like, I'm going to this webinar because this girl is talking about doing a faceless podcast and being able to stay home with her son and her dog. And I'm like, I have a dog and I have 2 cats and I have 2 sons, and I would love to be able to stay home with them. So I'm just go to this little
Mhm.
webinar and see what this girl is talking about. And she was
Mhm.
talking about faceless podcasting, but she had a business bestie on a call. Big shout out to Miss Self Love and Miss Manifest. I mean, they are amazing ladies. If you don't know who they are, you definitely want to find out. But they were telling me about content creation and digital products on the call as well. And so I'm like, man, as I'm listening, I'm like, you're right. You know, how does most advertising happen these days? People are advertising on social media. How are people
Mhm.
making money on social media? You know, people do have links in their bio telling you to buy something or whatever. So I'm like, that does make sense to have this digital product thing going. And so it was like a light bulb moment. Honestly, it was like almost a
Mhm.
no-brainer because I'm like, if I learn how to show up online, if I learn
Mhm.
how to sell things online, if I learn how to create content, if I learn how to make money from my phone, these are skills that no one can ever take away from me. And these are
Right.
skills that can make me money as long as social media and the internet and all that stuff exists. So I'm
Right.
like, so even if I get into this and I don't make a dollar, I've earned so much in knowledge and skill that I can take with me and then turn into dollars that
Right.
it was like it made perfect sense. And then again, my kids, they're my why. They're the why behind everything. The
Mhm.
sleepless nights trying to get through college, everything, they were at the center of it all. And so I thought about them as well in this because I was like, wait a minute. Not only do I get to learn these skills, but I could teach them to my kids. And now my
Right.
kids have these skills and they can make money if they decide they don't want to go to college. If they decide, they want to do something different, I have some skills now that I could teach them too. So it was like, it checked all the boxes. And I was
Mhm.
like, it would be silly not to. It would be silly to pass this opportunity up. And so I went for it, and I'm here now, 4 months in. I've made over $2,600, and
Wow.
I'm just growing and going. And yeah, it's been crazy. My podcast is in 9 different countries now. It's been
Wow.
downloaded, yes, in 9 countries. So
I did not know that.
yes, so we hit 9 countries, and it's been downloaded over 440 times, and it's just growing, and it's out there, and I'm growing, and I've been able to share spaces with just so many amazing, incredible people because of this journey. So
Mhm.
I'm super happy that I had the discernment to know, like, this is something special. I need to tap in because it was not my plan at all.
And I very much understand that. But sometimes we start down one path and we realize, even if it is for us, we also realize that there is so much more that we can do, so much more that we can offer to the world. Um, Especially if it's something you can do in your spare time, because like you said, you work a regular 9 to 5.
Yes.
So how is that working a 9 to 5 as well as having your own business on the side?
So I'm not going to say it's easy, but I will say this. It definitely teaches you about discipline. It definitely teaches you about time management, and it definitely teaches you about prioritization.
Mhm.
So those 3 skills they're paramount to success anyway. So what
Mhm.
it while it's not easy to do, it becomes easier once you get good at those things. So I set a
Mhm.
schedule. I call it my schedule of abundance, and I write out checklists and to-do lists. And I'm very, I'm a part of a community, so that helps me stay accountable. And so
Mhm.
that it's a balancing act. There are some ways that I could definitely do better, like cooking and cleaning and stuff. Yeah, that falls by the wayside. But because I have this business, and my son just thinks that we're rich now, but because of this, I've been able to hire a cleaner to come in, and my next venture is hiring a PA, a
Ooh.
personal assistant, and then a cook, an in-house cook. So because of this business, I'm able to make the money to be able to hire people to handle those things so that I can focus on working my dream funder, which is my 9 to 5, is funding my dream until I'm able to do this full time. So it's a balancing act, and it's not impossible. It is difficult sometimes, but definitely it's a labor of love. And I love every moment of it, even the busiest times of it.
And that I very much understand that, because on top of my 9 to 5, I also have a side hustle. And especially this time of the year, Christmas and everything, that's when I earn the majority of my money. Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day, things like that. And there are times, unfortunately for me, I have 4 children. So cooking and cleaning, I have a lot of help in that area. Um, all 4 of my children can cook and feed themselves. All
Yeah.
4 of them can help me clean around the house. But it does become a bit time consuming, especially because I work overnight. So when I should be sleeping during the day, I'm pushing out orders. And sometimes it does get a little rough, but we do what we have to do.
Yes, yes, we do. Yes, we do. And I think that what this business is teaching me and what I'm taking away from this business is, as women, specifically a Black woman, we have this thing about being superwoman, right? We want to do it all. We want to do all the things.
Ooh,
That's
child.
superwoman syndrome. Superwoman syndrome is real. And like you said, having children, it makes you want to go 10 times harder and be even
Mhm.
more of a superwoman, right? But
Right.
I'm learning that having this business, having my own business, being an entrepreneur, and balancing having a family as well and being a fiance and a mom and all of those things, I'm learning that it's so important that we not burn ourselves out because we
Right.
want to be superwoman. We have
Mhm.
got to learn to delegate. We have got to learn, like when we talk about the soft life, like it's not just a term. Like we have to be soft with ourselves. We have to be more
Mhm.
gentle with ourselves because we are women. We go through things monthly that men don't even have
Will
a
never
clue.
understand.
They'll never ever understand. Hola. So yeah, they'll never know
Yes,
what it's like.
Shanta.
And so we have to, as women, we have to treat ourselves with a little bit more gentleness and compassion, slow ourselves down, and we have to do something for ourselves that will allow us to buy back our time. And so
Right.
having this business is helping me buy back my time. So I don't have to clean twice a month. Someone comes in, they spend 6 hours, 3 hours each time. That's 6 hours of time I do not have to spend cleaning my house. That's 6 hours I can pour into my family or pour into my business. So
Mhm.
it's so essential for us to understand that that's what millionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires do. They are
Mhm.
not, they understand time is a commodity and they're not wasting their time. They're investing, they're putting in the work so that they can buy back the time. And we can do the
Right.
same thing. And we must do it for ourselves as women because anything can happen. You know, we have spouses, and sometimes our spouses don't want us to invest in ourselves, or they feel like as a woman, we have to be, you know, we have to be the woman. We have to take care of the household, take care of the kids, do the nurturing, do the things. But at any given time, if he's the breadwinner, at any given time, anything can happen. Your husband can
Right.
slip, fall, bump his head, forget that he even had a job. You never know. And so what will you right? Like what will you do? So being able to be empowered to make money from yourself on this thing that we keep in our hand 24/7 anyway,
Yep.
it's you have to. You have to have this skill. And so it's something that I see as I put the investment in now, but it's a payment onto my future self. It's a payment for my future life. So it's
Right.
something that, like you said, it's busy, but we have to do it because we have to get to that point where we can start to buy back our time and treat ourselves with that gentleness to give ourselves that soft life that we deserve. We truly
Right.
do.
Now, that is one of the things I'm learning to do. Because one of the things I always say is you can't pour from an empty cup. And a lot of times we spend so much time, especially as mothers, making sure everyone else is good to the point where we're burning ourselves out and not having enough time for ourselves and not having enough time to pursue our goals and our dreams. So I very much understand that. One of the things I've not only learned from you, but chaotic as well, is time management. And I'm not that good at it yet, but I'm better at it than I've ever been. Now, this is,
Yes.
I write every single thing down. I have this notebook because, like I said, I have ADHD. So a lot of times there are 10 different things in my mind. So I'll write them down here. And in this notebook, I'll write them down to where they make sense. Because if somebody were to read this actual notebook, they would be like, what is wrong with her? That's just, like I said, my mind has 10 different things running through it at a time. Like right now,
Yes.
I'm thinking of 3 other things that I can be doing. So time management is very, very important. One of the things that Chaotic said the other day was Elon Musk lives his life in 5-minute increments. So
Mm.
every 5 minutes, he's thinking of what he needs to do and, all that. So when I tell you, I very much understand how important time management is. It really is. Not
Yeah.
only because we have children, but because we have careers and there's so many different things happening. If we don't manage our time, well, me personally, I'd be lost. I would be
Yes.
100% lost.
Yes. And if you don't manage your time, like think of the word in itself, like manage. Your manager is the person who keeps things running at the job.
Hmm.
You have to be the manager of your time, because if you're not, then you're the employee, and then somebody else is directing you on what to do when. So you
Right.
have got to sit in the driver's seat when it comes to your time, and you have to value your time and understand that your time is valuable. And
Hmm.
once you do, it becomes, less selfish, because that's what I tend to think when I'm like not giving all of myself to everyone else. I get in this mindset of, oh my God, I'm being so selfish, and like
Hmm.
I'm a people pleaser, not anymore, recovering people pleaser.
Recovering
Recovering.
people pleaser.
So, as I'm coming out of that, it
Hmm.
is something that I had to relearn, because I was taught in a way, like most women. I was raised in a house by a woman. I only had a sister. It was all women in the house. And it's,
Hmm.
very, there's a lot of high feminine energy. So a lot of give, 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 nurture, nurture,
Hmm.
nurture, nurture, care for others, do for others. Um, but you don't get the balance of how to, like you said, how to pour into yourself, because you
Hmm.
cannot pour from an empty cup. I love that, because it's so true. When you're on a plane, they tell you right at the beginning of the flight, if anything happens, put your own
Put it on
oxygen
yourself
mask
first.
first.
Right.
Because if you do not secure your own breathing, your own oxygen, and you pass out, now you've become a liability for somebody else. So
Exactly.
have to care for yourself first, and you can't think it's selfish. You pouring into yourself, learning yourself, loving yourself, giving to yourself, healing to yourself. If you understand oneness and how we're all connected, when you do that, you heal others, you give to
Hmm.
others. By taking care of yourself, you can ultimately take care of others better. So it
Exactly.
has to happen. It's essential, it's paramount, it's a non-negotiable. Got to take care of yourself first.
Right. Because if we don't, we won't be able to run businesses and things of that nature. We'll just be drained. Uh,
Yes.
so I have two more questions. Um, we're coming up on 2025. What are your goals for your business in 2025? Do you see yourself doing anything else? Because you already said you've been a teacher and everything else. What are your next what are your goals for 2025? And what else do you see yourself doing, if anything?
Yes, so I definitely have some goals for 2025. First and foremost, continue to grow and scale my business. I want to be able to help as many women as I can on their healing journey. I want to be able to help women heal their generational wounds, their generational money
Hmm.
trauma, so that they can start to really attract and manifest abundance, because we have that power within us, that
Hmm.
God power, that source within us to do this. But we have these blocks and limiting beliefs that tell us that we can't. And
Whoosha.
so so when we start to heal, when we start to go back and we really like tap into our inner child, we start to do the work with our inner child wounds. When we start to look at our relationships with money, where did they come from and why they are negative and need to be changed, so that we can remove the block. When we start to do that, again, we're able to pour into ourselves financially, and then pour out to others, if that's what we like to do. And so
Hmm.
I love to be able to do that on a much larger scale. I've helped so many women so far, but I love to continue to grow that. And I am getting into more and more of as I'm doing this entrepreneurial thing, this personal development space as well. I'm really developing myself, because you can't become a successful entrepreneur and not develop yourself. You have
Right.
to, like you said, as you get into this space, your time management gets better, your prioritization gets better, your ability to think critically and all of that gets better. So it's all personal development. So I love to continue to tap into that part of what I'm doing, being, growing myself personally, continuing to heal. And also, I got something special that I'm kind of working on in the back end. which I'm gonna keep a little under wraps because it's still so new right now. But
Okay.
you'll be hearing more. My throat chakra, I'm still, opening that up with my podcast, but I have some other ways that I'll be opening my throat chakra, including speaking at different retreats. Continue to do interviews such as these amazing interviews like this on podcasts, and then some other things going on with my throat chakra as well for 2025. So it's all about growth, all about personal development, and all about just continuing to serve in this space as a healer as much as I possibly can.
That's awesome. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you always had some sort of plan, but this just wasn't it. And you kind
Exactly.
of found your way, or this just kind of fell in your lap.
Yes. So I mean, who doesn't dream of having more, like you said, or
Mhm.
wanting more? I planned, I guess, to take the more traditional route initially, right? You work till you're 65, retire, you live off your, social security, whatever the case may be. I was going to play it safe and do the thing that everyone tells you should do because that's what everyone tells you should do. Um, so I always planned to be successful in some capacity, but I never in my wildest dream thought that this would be it. I'm a shy girly. Like, I'm shy. Like, y'all don't know I'm shy. So I never thought like social media. I rarely was on. So Chaotic said this the other day. I was rarely on social media. I didn't want to be in the limelight. I did not want to show my face. Very much shy. But what I realized again, that was tied to a lot of the trauma. There was a lot of
Yeah.
shame, a lot of guilt, especially when you're dealing with money trauma and not having and being broke and being broken. You feel ugly, right? You don't feel like I deserve like to be seen by, like, why do I deserve to be seen? Who wants to see my broke ass? Like, those things you tell yourself. And so
Mhm.
I hid because hiding just seemed to be easier. But now that I'm here, it's like I didn't know that this was the plan, but I needed this more than I thought because this is helping me to really show up and be authentic and be like, yeah, so what? I was broke as fuck, but guess what? I'm healing that and we're good. Like,
Right. Right.
So I'm glad that this did fall in my lap, but it wasn't my initial plan. I did plan for success, but the way I planned to get there, I was planning on playing the long game that everyone tells you to play. And I'm not, no knock on anyone who plays that game and plays it well
Mhm.
and is fine with that, because some people, that is their path. They will work
Mhm.
until they're 65. They'll retire. They'll get the pension, the Social Security, and all will be well. And that's fine. That's
Mhm.
just fine. But if you don't have to do that, or if that doesn't seem to fit, then I would encourage anyone to explore your other options because there are so many other options out here
Right.
besides that.
Exactly. Well, I am so grateful that you joined us today. I don't want you to go anywhere quite yet. Um, so I want you to stay around for a moment. Um, I'm going to bring you down. So that was Miss Shani Speaks telling us about her journey and everything that she has going on. Now, next, we're going to bring up one of my favorite people, Mr. Mike Morgan. Mike, are you there?
I am. How you doing?
I am wonderful. Now, the reason I wanted you here for a specific reason. I did. When I was talking to Chaotic about this, I'm like, I had mentioned to him a couple of people that I wanted to talk to, and your name came up because if correct me if I'm wrong, but you've had more than one career.
Yeah, I've had multiple. I can't. To be honest, I can't count them all. Um, I don't look at them as careers because to me they're not careers. To other people they may be careers, but they're always like it's just something to finance everything else I want to do.
Right. And one of the things Shiny Speaks always says is your 9 to 5 funds your dreams. So
Yeah, I completely agree with her on that. When she said that, I
that
was like, yep. I want to say this to, I guess, any of the young people watching. That's like the number one. I don't care who told you, like, oh man, I'm just gonna be I don't know, what do they call, starving artist or whatever. You will be starving. I'll tell you that right now. You you will be starving. You try that. Like, I've met people who did that, and I'm like, that's insane. Like, I don't know how you. It doesn't even make sense. But yeah, until you can make your dream the thing that you're financing everything off of, like that's your main money maker. I would suggest that you have like some other source of income,
Mhm.
because I mean, unless you're a trust fund baby, you could live off mommy and daddy, then whatever. Most people don't have that option. I certainly do not. So
Me either. So my first question to you is, what is it that you do now?
currently, I am an apprentice in a trade. I am
A
I'm a
professional
pipe.
pipe layer?
Listen, pipe fitter is more politically correct nowadays, because it gets misconstrued when people say, you lay pipe for a living. They're like, what the heck? Lay it, hang it, whatever. We install it. Pipe installer. Okay. Um,
That will always be funny to me.
I am in a 5-year apprenticeship, and I am on year number 3.
Oh, okay. Um, was this your initial plan?
Hell no.
Because, like I said, I know you've had multiple things you've done. I know you were a CNA at one point.
Yes, I was a CNA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think exactly. Oh, so before that I was driving trucks. I was a semi truck driver, and
Mm-hmm.
then I got into a little issue with my license, so I couldn't drive for a bit. But unemployment was offering CNA classes for 6 weeks, I believe. So I
Yep.
took it, aced all my tests or whatever, and then I started working as a CNA. And then I was driving trucks at the same time. So I was doing,
Wait. You were doing both of those things?
yeah, because I think truck season got like slow or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I believe my boss, I don't know, something happened where he had to downsize. So I kind of got let go. I ended up being a CNA, and then he called me back. So I was driving trucks during the day and working the overnight as a CNA.
Yeah. I very much know that 11 to 7
Yeah,
shift,
yeah, I
because
know.
that's the one I work now.
That's why when I became a staffing coordinator, because I went from CNA to staffing coordinator. I didn't like take a break or whatever. Like, I was working as a CNA when I got the call
Mm-hmm.
for the position as a staffing coordinator. So when the staff used to try to play those games with me, like, you don't understand how hard it is, and I said, man, I got my license right now. I was just doing this. Order was a long time ago. I said, this was last week. I just had my hand up somebody's ass, man. What are you talking about?
People think I'm joking, and they always laugh when I say, they ask me what I do. I say I'm a professional butt wiper. Like,
Yeah,
that's what it all boils down to. I say I'm a healthcare professional and all that, but at the end of the day, I'm a professional butt wiper. That's what most of the job is. We take care of people who can't take care of themselves.
yeah.
So
It's a thankless job, but
Mhm.
somebody has to do it, and I appreciate people who do it because I did it myself. So, like, I don't know, like, if you never did a job like that, like, it's something about waking up and it'd be 7 o'clock in the morning before you even eat breakfast. You done seen like the craziest things. Like, they used to say I had an iron stomach because I would have a patient with C. diff, take care of them, and then go straight to
Ooh,
eating. They're like, how could you do that? I'm like, listen, I
that's
compartmentalize.
the nastiest thing ever.
Yeah,
I want you to know that.
yeah. If y'all don't know what C. diff is, you don't want to know, man.
It's the
Yeah,
nastiest thing ever. I don't
Yeah.
understand how you can eat after that.
But you know what's funny? I really compartmentalize it because like at work, like nothing was like, oh my God, this is disgusting or this nasty or whatever, right? But if I see like human feces in real life, like outside of work, it'll mess me up. But like at work is like because I think I expect to see that. So it's just like, it is what it is, you know.
It's just a part of the job.
Yeah. But going back to my plant, no, my plant was never this. Like I think when I was a kid, like, you know, when we were younger, I'm pretty sure you had that thing where they had what was it called? Like career day, and then they would ask you like, oh well,
What do you want to do?
what do you want to
wanna
be?
do?
When you know, when I was a kid, I always wanted to go to space. I wanted to be an astronaut. But then I had a teacher tell me, where she lied. She said, "Oh, you're not gonna be able to fit in a space shuttle because you got to be a certain height, and you know, because I had just started growing at that time, and I believe, listen, I believe this lady. That was back in the day when white people would just tell the truth, and you just believe it. You just thought everything a white person said was true. Like, all right, I mean, just telling the truth. But
for those of you that don't know, Mike Morgan is about 6'8".
no.
I've never seen anybody hit their head on a ceiling fan. Never in my life. I've never seen that. Oh my God. Because you definitely walked into
You said, y'all set me up. I don't know what that was about, man. That fan attacked me.
Listen, it didn't attack AK.
That's because he's not 6'4". He lying about his height, man. This guy, I don't care what he told you. I just went to the doctor, man, not too long ago, and they said I was 6'5". So I don't know how tall that man is, but he's not 6'4".
They were lying. They were lying. I promise you, it's 6'8". I promise you. I've never seen anybody use the top of the refrigerator to put their cup on.
I do it all the time.
Most people put their cup on the counter. You put your cup on the top of the refrigerator like that's just like it's just a table or the counter.
Listen, that's because it's eye level. It was the closest thing to it. It would be more work for me to bend over. It'd be more work for me to bend over. But no, being a pipe fitter was not my it was not in my plans at all. Actually, I became a pipe fitter because when I was a CNA, there was one of my staff members before I left and became a staffing coordinator. She was new. She was coming from the corporate space, and she was a bit older and really didn't, she couldn't really do like a lot of the physical stuff, and you could tell like this is probably like her first time really like working in that capacity. But she would always come to me, Mike, I need this, because she would go to everybody else and nobody would help her. So I was like, you know what? I'm already done with my assignment. What I look like just sitting here and not helping her, that's corny. So she says, my husband, he works in construction, like he's a steam fitter. And I was like, I didn't even know what the hell that was. I thought she meant like he was iron. Well, I didn't even know, she didn't say construction at first. So I thought that he was like iron and stuff. I'm like, steam fitter, why the hell would I want to do that? So eventually, I'm like, I didn't. I'm like, she didn't explain it, So then, what happened is when I went to become a staffing coordinator, I was in the trade for like, I think I was going on my 3rd year, and it was just weighing on me. Like it was too much stress, being on call, and I was putting on hella weight because I wasn't moving at all. I just sit at my desk. And the food was coming, and I was eating it. Like, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna turn nothing down. So, my girlfriend at the time was saying, she said, you know what? Maybe you need to have a conversation with her and see if you could like switch careers. And I'm like, I was like, I don't even know what it is. So I talked to her. We had to sit down with her husband, and I was like, oh, this is construction. So he put the word in for me. I did everything I had to do, and I got in there. And then like in the first couple of months, like just me moving around from being at the desk, like, I have my own office. I just sit around like I lost hella weight. I'm like, damn. And it's just like, I think like my mind was cleared up too, because it was like I wasn't just stuck in that one space all the time. I'm moving around, like interacting with different people. And then I realized like I kind of miss working with my hands. Like sitting behind a computer is fine if that's for you, but like for me, I couldn't do it like day in day out. Um, so it was fine. Like I was like, all right, it's cool. But like I say, a lot of my positions, I can't even tell you how many jobs I had. Some of them I forgot. Like even when I was telling you before the show started, like you see, I was coming up with jobs I couldn't even remember. But a lot of those jobs came from just my interaction with other people and how I treated people at the job. Like I always say, you got to be careful of how you treat people, because that person that is at the bottom at one point may end up being your boss. But because I was just so like personable with people, and it's just like, you know what, let me help you out. If I see you need help, I'm gonna help you out. A lot of my jobs came from people saying like, hey, just hitting my phone like, hey, there's a position over here. I'm thinking about you or whatever. Like I used to work at a group home. I went to trucker school, right? And a guy I met at the trucker school, we're close friends. He started working at this group home. So I'm working with him or whatever. And then he left to go do trucking, and I left to do something completely different. I get a call from him. He's like, hey, the trucking company they're hiring. But I was new. I hadn't really been over the road. In the trucking industry, you have to go over the road first before you get a local position. He was like, nah, I put the word in for you. I said, like, yo, dude been driving with me. And I was like, oh, damn. Like, that was my first official trucking job off of like word of mouth because of interaction I had with people. So I always say, like, karma is people think it's like this spiritual thing, like it's just out in the mist and it just floats around. No, it's a very real thing. It's more so like your reputation, and people, like, your reputation can precede you, and people could be like, oh man, like this guy is a good worker or whatever. Like, and that got me a lot further than like having like I don't know, going to like an Ivy League school or something like that. But they say, school is pretty much networking anyway. But yeah, that's how I got into the trade. And this is not my final stop, because I actually went to school for the thing that I did want to do after they after they said I couldn't get into the space shuttle. I went to school for something, and right now I'm finally now just getting into it because of word of mouth. There was somebody that I knew. He got married in Jamaica, and he introduced me to a friend of his, and he was like, hey man, he was like, yo, this guy's in the industry that you're trying to get into. I was like, oh, word. So we had a conversation. We talked a bit in Jamaica. Then we like chatted online or whatever. Like right now, like this is my guy. Like we're cool as hell. And I've been working my money maker or whatever, like that, like the dream funder. And he's like, listen, bro. He was like, that's cool. He was like, but it's time for you to kind of like, come into being like what you really supposed to be. Like, he's a ghostwriter. So he's been ghostwriting for years. He wrote for like Janet Jackson. Oh
wow.
Like a bunch of people. I don't bring him on the podcast because he's like he can't really talk about anything. Like when a lot of the what's going on currently right now in the music industry broke, I knew about this years ago. He was telling me like certain names, like, hey man, this person ain't no
we're
good.
Gonna mind our business.
Yeah.
You gonna mind our business.
And I was like, Jesus. So right now, even though I also do music too, but that's not the position that he's trying to get me into. It's a whole different industry. But I'm like, you know what? It's time for me to make that move. And for the past couple of months, I've been working on a project, and I will not let nobody know what the project is until the project is finished. Because I like Shawnee said earlier about having a schedule and keeping your schedule. Like, I'm real big on that, so I try to work on it as much as possible. Like right now, I'm on the podcast talking to you guys, but as soon as I get off, I gotta go back and do that. Like every time I find myself doing something like for like leisure, if I'm just I'm playing Xbox or whatever, I'm like, hold on, let me look at the time.
Right.
After I do this, because I did something for pleasure, I got to do something that's going to forward me further in my career. Because like she said, you know, there's people who are going to work until they're like 65 and then retire. Like, you know, especially being in my business and construction, like the pension and things like that, it's a big thing. Like they always talk about it. Like every day I'm in class, my instructor's like, hey, you know, you guys get your pension points and so on and so forth. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And this is a career for a lot of people. It's a great career. You get into journeyman status, you make about like $55, $58 an hour. But for me, I kind of, yeah. You make like $55, $58 an hour.
That's travel nursing kind of money.
Yeah.
And you ain't got to go nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, well, we're my union is stationed in New Jersey, and they may like you may travel, but if you travel, they give you they give you like a stipend, and this is for like your hotel and things like that. They tried to get me to travel one time, but I don't think I might not have been qualified because I think I was like a first year or something, and I was like, but it's just like I don't want to work in a job that I don't love like that for, you know, when I'm like 65. I want to be in the career that I love at 65 and get up in the morning and say, I can't wait to go to work. I want to be able to not be able to go to sleep the night before because I'm ready for work the next day. Not doing it just because I got to put food on the table. You know what I'm saying? But there are guys in my industry who love it. There are guys who love it, and it's a great position. And it's one thing I want to encourage a lot of young kids, especially young Black kids, male and female. So years ago, way before our time, there was a big push for all Black kids to go to college. Like education was a big thing, right? And but before that, there were a lot of tradesmen, my family included. I come from a military family, but a lot of my family after that were tradesmen. They were bricklayers. Guys built their own houses. But once college became a big thing, they were saying like, you know, you got to go to college and get your education. But like, what are you getting your education in? Because if it's not something that's you know, that you could turn into a career, it's kind of like you almost wasted your time. And a lot of these Black owned construction companies and businesses went to the wayside because college was seen as like, okay, this is the thing you have to do. So if you're young right now and you're like, okay, I don't really know what I want to do, you could spend 4 years in college and maybe get a great career, or you could pick up a trade. You get into a trade. You get into a trade right now. Say you're 18, and I talk to the kids that come from Votech and they come to the school, and we tell them about our program and things like that. Like, you're 18, you get into this program, right? By the time that you're ready to become a journeyman after your whatever time that you have in, if you're a laborer, I think it's 2 years. In my trade is 5. Some of them are 4. By the time you're done, you're going to be making upwards to 40, you know, into $50 an hour. And you didn't pay for really anything. They paid you to go to work.
Do it.
Yeah. So learn. it's like reverse college pretty much. So I always say, like, I know I'm going to do the same thing with my kids. It's like, hey, what do you want to do? Like, if what you want to do requires college, then you should go to college. If you're going to college because you don't know what to do, I don't think that's the place I don't think that's the place you're going to go. Like, you want to go because you're going to end up in massive debt. Like, when I'm done with my apprenticeship, I don't have to pay anybody anything except for my union dues, and that's it. Wow. So,
well, you said a lot. You answered the questions that I was going to ask without me even asking them.
I know, because I just heard you ask her.
So I'm going to pull up Shani as well. Don't go nowhere, Mike. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you, Shani, because you said not only did you get your, you went to college and you got your master's. Do you have any regrets about going to college?
Yes, absolutely. Mike hit the nail on the head when he talked about having a trade. Yes, any regrets regarding college? So, like he said, it is so expensive. It is uberly
Yes.
expensive. If you're not going to get the scholarships, which I did have the scholarships. Don't get me wrong. When I started off, I had a scholarship that first full year. I went to college, lost my mind. I got pregnant, scholarship out the window. I was boy crazy.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I'm like, hey, whatever. So yes, I definitely, if I could do it all over again, now, at the time, internet wasn't like a big thing either, too, for us. Like
Mhm.
it was just popping off. Facebook was just becoming a thing. If I was doing it all over again now, I definitely would explore my other options. I didn't know too much about trade school when I was coming up. I didn't
Mhm.
know about even the military. Like, don't sleep on the military, y'all. My cousin,
Right.
he's retired. Yeah, he's retired from the Army. And I have another cousin who's just retiring from the Navy. And they're both young. They both are in their early 30s. One is in his 20s, late 20s. He just bought a house. My cousin in his 30s just bought a house, and they're like, yo, we get paid $4,000 a month. That's just from the military. And then any work that we do is just to supplement that. So, like, don't discount the military. These are all things I wish I knew before I went to college, racked up massive debt. Like Mike said, I didn't know really what I wanted to do. I had some idea, but I got pregnant. So I bounced around a lot with ideas of what I wanted to do in college. I wasted a lot of money, a lot of time. But this is my path, It took me where I needed to go. And it's fine. Like it worked itself out because now, I am where I am. But if I could do it all over again, I would definitely explore other options, entrepreneurship, especially. Like Mike said, having Black businesses, that was such a big thing. It's a reason why they bombed Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's a reason why, they try to now put us in this path of go to college, and they're not forgiving the student loan debt that it takes to go to college.
Mhm.
Because
So-
that student loan debt ain't no
Ding,
joke.
ding, ding.
So I'm telling you, the gems that he dropped, that you dropped, Mike, when you talked about that, are just top tier A1. There are other options out there, and I wish I had known about them before I took the college route, for sure.
I want to hop on the back of that. I would say, especially for women, because in my trade, right, in all the trades, period, you don't really see a lot of women.
Mhm.
And I think women have this misconception that, oh, I can't do this, I can't do construction or whatever, right?
Not true.
That is BS, because there's a lot more trades than just like, you swinging a hammer. Like they have, like I see a lot of women who are electricians and they make a lot of money.
They do.
Lot of money. There's women that one of the instructors at my job is a woman. And she taught me how to weld because I was shit. I was fucking terrible. And she came in, I was like, listen, just treat me like I don't know nothing. Like I knew like the basics, and then she was showing me stuff. I'm like, damn. And like she's out there, people are saying like, oh, she's on like social media showing like, oh, I'm over here doing this, I'm over here doing that. Like, so for women, listen, that's a lot of options. I know they talk about the wage gap, the pay wage gap, but a lot of it comes from jobs that women don't think that they're qualified to be in, or they feel like, oh, I can't be in this position, whatever. Like, listen, go out for it. And I would say, like, don't worry about that sexual harassment. Trust me, the union, they got lawyers on deck, and they're not trying to fuck up. I'll tell you this right now, because they told us when we first came in, listen, y'all do some. Like, we had a nice little, conversation when we first came in, and then we didn't have any females in my class, and then we got a female in the class, and they were like, before she even came in, the instructor was like, listen, man, any bullshit any jokes you about to say,
Don't
like,
cost us no money.
yeah, all that shit y'all used to say before she came in here, don't say none of it, because that shit, like, it will be bad. And I was cool, because I was like, I don't talk like that anyway, so I ain't really had nothing to worry about. But you know, I would say just expand your horizons, man. As far as
Mhm.
trades, especially for females, man, because it's money out there, man, and
It is.
Yes.
it's just on the table. It's just sitting there.
Like I have a friend of mine, um, he's a tree cutter. And I'm like, well, and he's been doing that for a really long
That job is
time.
super dangerous.
It
That job is
is.
super dangerous.
But
I didn't even know. I
because
had no idea.
because he's been doing it for such a long time, like now he don't even have to, he don't even have to go up and, cut what he does now. He got kind of the easy job. He drive the truck, and once they cut the stuff down, he use a machine, pick it up, and throw it in the back of the truck. But he's been doing it for so long. And when I was researching this episode, there are so many different trades. What I do want to say is, I don't want anybody to say, I don't want to go to college. I just want to find a job and I want to make a bunch of money.
No.
Anything that you do, you're going to have to do some additional learning. So, like you said, you're welding, right? You still have to do some additional training and some additional learning. There is always going to be that.
So I'm gonna put it like this: if you think you're about to get into the trade, like okay, the trades that make the most money, like my trade or electrician, if you think you're gonna get in there, I'm like, I ain't got to do no school. You're surely mistaken. I'm in school every week, like, and listen, you got to brush up on your. I'm doing math, like algebra. We're on science now, like, so you still got to go to school, but it's not as extensive. But I will say that if you're like one of those people who's like a quick learner, who's like, oh, I don't feel like maybe you weren't a great student because you didn't like the strict schedule of like, okay, I have to be in class every day. You may have class like once a week, but if you're a fast learner, you'll be good. I don't think anybody in my class actually failed, to be honest. Like, and listen, I got some guys in there where you're like, some of the stuff you say, you're like, man, like, I don't know, man. I don't know if this guy gonna make it, but so far, I don't think anybody's failed. People have got kicked out, but that's more for attendance. Like they just didn't want to come, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, you're gonna need some type of education. Like I would never discourage you from going to school. I would say whatever your dream is, you have to, whatever your dream is, there's a prerequisite to getting there, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Just like Shawnee said, like whatever she had to learn to get her business started, she might not have had to go to school for that, but she had to do her own extensive training to figure that out. If you want to be a doctor, I would suggest you go to school, or a dentist. You don't want to be like that guy that just got caught. This guy got a whole dental business and he ain't never go to school. Like what? That don't even make no sense. Like,
no, yeah, you definitely don't want to do that.
Let's go to jail.
You could have just.
Thing. I think that the whole thing is that a lot of times you want the quick success, and it's a lot harder now too because we live in this. I don't even call it a microwave society. It's even faster than a microwave now. We live in like this society where instant gratification is the thing. We want quick results. You want something fast, but I'm telling you, it happens for some people, but it's few and far between. So anything that's worth having is worth working hard for. You have to put in the work. You gotta, because then you'll appreciate it more. It'll be more special to you. So don't let that part of getting to your dream scare you. The little work that you might have to put in along the way. Just go for it. Whatever you're dreaming of, go for it. Like Mike said, go for it. Find out what it takes to do the thing that you want to do, and be stubborn, be delulu about it. Like, be delulu.
Nothing wrong with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, because everybody gonna tell you that it's not gonna work until it works, and they gonna be like, man, I always knew. I was right there.
But here are some trades or careers that don't require college. And don't misunderstand, you are going to have to do some additional learning, but these don't require college. And this one, this first one was very shocking to me. You can be a airline pilot without going to college.
Mm-hmm.
An elevator mechanic, a
Yeah, you have
flight
to do flight
attendant, a
training.
firefighter, a police officer, an electrician. None of these things require college, but you will have to do some additional learning.
That's true.
So don't ever think that you're going to be just run right into a trade and not have to do, you just going to get into it. We have another question. How can we prepare our kids for AI? Is the college dream still at the forefront? Now, let me tell you something. This ain't a question for me. I don't know very much about AI, and I won't even lie to you. When it comes to AI, some of that scares me a little bit because I ain't even gonna go into all that, but AI scares me a little bit. So if anybody can answer that, the floor is yours.
Well,
Can
what I will
anybody answer?
say is, well, I'm put like this. What I will say is, when I first got into the trade, there used to be a line around the block, right? Because obviously it's a good business to be in, and they would run out of applications. I have to turn people away. When I got my application, out of I think maybe 60 applications that they had, they only gave out about 40, and then the year after that, they gave it even less. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And apparently, all the kids thought they was going to become millionaires off the AI and the social media and all that. It was like, man, I ain't trying to do no trade. I'll tell you this last time, that line was on the back. They ran, everybody that thought they was going to be somebody, I guess it worked out for them. You know what I mean? So it's like, listen, if it works for you, it works for you, but don't like, I don't know. Like I see a lot of kids talk about, like, when they ask, oh, what do you want to be? They say, oh, I want to be an influencer, right? And I'm like, man, that's like, I get it.
Everybody ain't gonna make big money off being an
Definitely,
influencer.
yeah, like I get it, and it could work for you, but as a child, right? Like as a kid saying, like, yo, I want to be an influencer. Like, in order to influence people, you gotta have experience. You ain't did nothing yet. Like, who you influence?
Wait, time out. Let me kind of cut
I mean, you
in
could
a
probably
little
influence
bit.
other kids. I'm not saying it.
It's just
I mean, I'm
because
not saying it can't happen, because
so it's a way. There is a way to do it. There is a way to leverage AI. I actually leverage AI a lot in the social media space, as well as in my job as a consultant, educational consultant, believe it or not. So since I work with schools and I work with teachers and administrators very closely, that question about AI comes up a lot. So I made it my own, personal mission to explore AI tools, get to know AI tools, to see how they can be leveraged in an educational way, and also just to see all that they had to offer and what, their capabilities are. I will say this: prompt engineering is a skill. And if you are wanting to make money with AI, you have to be really good at inputs and understanding inputs and outputs and how AI works. Machine learning, that would be something that you will want to know a little bit about how machine learning works and how AI is designed to learn based on the prompts that are put in. So when you get really specific about your prompting, when you really get your prompt engineering down, there is a way to leverage and make money off of AI. Chat GPT is not it. There's Midjourney, which you can use if you prompt it correctly. It could create art and images for you. People use AI to create those cartoon-like images that you see on a lot of digital products and ebooks. People use AI for captioning speeches. There are ways to leverage AI and to use AI and to really make money off of it. You just have to get really, really good at prompting. So prompt engineering is key. And I will say that if you want to be an influencer, it's not even just about like the part of being popular and people knowing you and liking you. You have to you have to find your people and build yourself up with use those people to build yourself up. If you have something people want to know, people want to see, you can leverage that and become that influencer. So for kids who want to be an influencer, they have to figure out what their skill is. What is it that they're going to be really, really good at that they want to leverage? And then they just have to learn about, first of all, showing up every single day, how to tap into the algorithm to get themselves out there, how to put their story in their captions so that they can create connections. So it's a way that you can build yourself up as an influencer if that's what you want to do, no matter what your age is. You could be a kid, you could be an adult, you could be an old person, young person, white, black, blue, whatever. It can be done. So I think that, you know, we need to not shy away from it as much. And I think that we need to be immersive about AI and really start to help our kids get into it and lean into it, because they're going to take it to the next level anyway. So I think it's something that, you know, jobs are looking for now. A lot of jobs, if you look, there are a lot of jobs that are hiring for prompt engineers, people who know AI and can use AI. So it's something we need to do more work with. And I think at the school level, it's important that we not shy away from it, but that we prepare our kids for what's to come. They're going to need to know it. They're going to need to be familiar with it. And so I do see the pitfalls. I do see that there are some things and kinks that still need to be worked out 100%. But at the same time, I do see the benefit of it. And I think that the benefits definitely outweigh those risks. And digital marketing, digital business, digital entrepreneurship, it's one of the fastest growing online businesses right now. It's set to be a $2.5 trillion business, according to Forbes. Trillion.
Yeah.
By 2030. So, and that's not something you need.
That's in 5 years.
You don't need a degree. You don't need a high school diploma. You just have to have a phone, Wi-Fi, and you need to just learn the aspects of social media and how their algorithms work, and then work those algorithms in your favor.
Wow. We are just a little over an hour, and I didn't think this episode was going to be this long, but y'all dropped some amazing jewels.
Yeah, I'm about to get a new job. I'm about to start doing digital marketing now.
Before we close out, does anybody want to drop any last pearls of wisdom?
I want to say,
Shani, you dropped a lot. I don't even think you have to say anything else, because you gave us a lot. I always tell Chaotic that having you on is so impactful. It's insightful. It's very edifying. So I always appreciate your presence. I really do.
Thank you so much.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, kiddos, I mean, look, whatever you want to do, go for it. Don't let things, like Mike said, that teacher that told him he was too tall to be an astronaut. Yes, you gotta.
Might not have been wrong.
Mike, I'm gonna have to see. I mentioned. But seriously, like, you can do it. Like, one of the things that I think that we have as children that we don't take into adulthood that we need to is your imagination, your creativity, and your ambition and resilience. Those things are super key important, and don't let the downs of life, the things that can pull you down, don't let that take away from that, because that's your money maker. So stay creative, stay imaginative, stay resilient, and stay open to new experiences. Keep believing that you are the shit, because in high school, that's what I believed. And I wish I carried that into adulthood. So keep that, because you are.
And listen, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Mike, is there anything you would like to say in closing?
I want to say you don't have to have everything figured out right now.
You've been looking at my notes.
What? No, I'm just saying you don't have to have everything figured out right now. Like, you know, Shawnee just said that she really, like, pretty much she just said like, listen, she had one plan that, you know, that didn't go where she wanted and she switched up. Like me, I had a plan, but it was more so it was a lot of other things going on in my life at the same time. So school wasn't like the best option. So I left school to make money. And now it's like, you know, I did a bunch of other things to get to where I'm at now. And I would say I probably wouldn't be able to have the opportunity I have now had I just said like, all right, I'm gonna go to school and keep it direct. But within saying that, I screwed up a bunch of times with different careers. Like, but every time I bounce back, like, so when people say like, oh man, I did this and, you know, I should be old, it's over. Man, listen, man. The things I did in my life, I shouldn't even be on this podcast right now talking, man. I should probably be dead. Like you already know, I done fell asleep, ended up in somebody's backyard with the car and all that. Like, you know, so, and I bounced back from that. Kids, don't be like me. Don't listen, man. If you feel tired, just pull over on the side of the road and go to sleep. Don't think I'm gonna make it home, because you're not. You're gonna make it to somebody else's home. You're gonna make it to somebody else's home. But don't be afraid to fail, because like anything else, you know, failure is the best teacher. I think, remember we were in school and the teacher would ask the answer and say, who knows the answer? And so many times nobody would want to put up their hand because they were afraid of being wrong. Like, I'm in class now, right? And I realize, like, I still see the same thing in class now. People don't want to put up I'll just say whatever answer. I'm like, you know what? I'm too old for this, man. Yo, is it this? No, it's not. All right, what is it? Is that? All right, okay. Let's keep it rolling. Because you'll never
now
learn.
I know that is not the answer. I can try to figure out what the right answer is.
So don't be afraid to fail, because, you know, you fail 100 times, all you need is that one time to win.
Right. All you need is one time.
That's all. That's all.
Now, you know, I love the two of you very much. Thank you for coming and participating today. I really appreciate the both of you. We have...
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We have Miss Shani Speaks. Can you tell us again where we can find you?
Yes, you can find
me in 9 different countries. I love it.
You can find me on Instagram at Miss Shani Speaks, the spelling just how it is here on the screen. So you can find me on Instagram, follow me there, follow my journey. And then if you want to listen to my podcast, the link is in my bio. So you can check out my podcast again, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, bunch of other different podcast platforms. So yeah, I'm there. I'll be there every single day. So come find me. And if you need any advice or anything, I'm telling you, if you're in high school and you're just trying to figure it out, especially when it comes to digital marketing or digital products or creating content, let me know. There are girlies who are doing this, and guys too. Humble Dev, they're young. They're young people doing this, your age. So it can be done and you can make a lot of money, and you don't need a degree to do it or a diploma. Just saying.
Absolutely. I so much appreciate you. I really, really do. And I share your content every time I see it. So
Thank you. Thank you so much, Queen Rashida. I love this. I love this, love this, love this. These are conversations that I have with my teenage son, my 18-year-old and my 13-year-old. So this is something that I'm super excited to just share, because I feel like I wish someone had shared this with me. Then I wouldn't have wasted the money and the time.
Absolutely.
You ain't wasted time, because the time gave you experience. Always remember that.
That is so true. Well, I love that.
Right.
That's a word. That is a word. You right. Either you live or you learn. Mm-hmm. And yes, I definitely learned.
So now you know what not to do.
I sure do. Right. I sure do. And I know how to direct my children on what not to do. I don't just push the narrative, college that everyone push.
Right. Mike Morgan, is there anything you would like to say in closing?
Listen, kids, don't be like Uncle Mike, man. I mean, or be like Uncle Mike, whatever. Do whatever y'all want to do. But I want to say like this, like, you know, if don't take your opportunities for granted. Like, you know, and don't be afraid to try new things. It may work out, it may not work out for you, but you may find somebody that could lead you to the path that you need to be at that position that you were like, I'm not so sure about this. You may meet somebody, that person put you on to something else. Then that you meet somebody there, that person put you on to something else. Listen, you got to try new things. You just gotta open yourself up, man. Don't be too rigid. Cause me, I'm a straight and narrow type of person. Like, I don't like to do anything outside my experience. Like, I'm just like, nah, I'm not doing that. I ain't doing this, whatever. But I say, like, every time I said I didn't want to do something, or I'm gonna hate doing this, I don't want to do this job, I ended up liking the job. And I'm like, whatever. And I end up meeting people that I'm pretty cool with to this day, to be honest.
I love it. I love it. I'm gonna bring y'all down because I have some closing remarks. Thank you all for being here. I very much appreciate y'all. So, in my closing remarks, I just wanted to say if you are 18 years old, it is okay to take some time off and figure out what you want to do in your life. Being 18 years old, I don't think that's always the best time to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. It's okay to take some time off. It's okay not to know what you want to do. It really is. It's okay. Don't ever think that just because you're coming out of high school, you have to have it all figured out, because you don't. Um, you really don't. And that is something that I've always been big on. 18 is not the best time to say, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So take some time, figure it out. And like it was said, try things. If it doesn't work out, you either win or you learn, one of the two. So those are my closing remarks. And hey, we're going to follow Miss Shani Speaks on all platforms. And I know Mike Morgan got some stuff in the tuck. He ain't really want to talk about it. But when, all that comes out, we'll share that with y'all as well. So thank you for watching. We love you all. And we'll be back probably next week with another installment of Life After High School. What's next? Bye. We love you.